Your first step in any nasal wax treatment is to cleanse the area using Waxperts cleanser on a folded over cotton pad. So this will cleanse the surrounding skin and then just the inside of the nostrils where we are going to wax today. Our next step is to apply pre-wax oil, and you do this the same way you applied your cleanser on a cotton pad, fold it over so it's a nice kind of conical shape to work the oil into the insides of the nostril, making sure that the hair and the skin, both inside the nostril and on the surrounding areas like the tip of the nose, the side of the nose, that they are all fully protected and have that nice slip and glide. So you're going to tissue off any excess with your tissue, and then you're ready to wax. A top tip when nasal waxing is to allow your wax to get a little bit tacky before you apply it to the nasal area. This can be done by twirling your spatula in the air for a couple of seconds before you apply it to the nasal area itself. Now you're going to apply your wax to one side of the nostril. Using firm pressure, work that wax in onto the skin and the unruly hairs that are visible on that nostril area where you're working. You're leaving your lip for removal on the tip of the nose. So that will be the easiest and the most comfortable place for you to grip and remove from. And very important that you make sure that your wax patch is as even in consistency. If you see that there are any weak spots in your wax patch, please go back and get a small amount of product to reinforce it. This will make sure that your wax patch is as even as possible and that it removes in one easy go rather than breaking off into pieces. To remove, we're going to stretch the nostril, pull up, and then grip your patch and remove in one easy go. You can squeeze the side of the nostril to take any sting away from the client. But you can see there's super removal there with First Mate. Our next patch is to apply to the other section of that nostril. We are going to use the same tip of twirling our spatula and letting our wax get a little bit tacky before we apply it. And using firm pressure, we're going to hold the nostril, pull it over to the side slightly so we have better access to place our wax in and really work it, push that wax in and onto those hairs using firm pressure. And again, making sure that our wax patch is as even as possible in all areas and leaving our lip for removal on the tip of the nose again. If you're unsure if your wax patch is set and ready for removal, you can always check by pressing your finger in onto the patch itself. If it still feels quite tacky or soft, it needs a couple of extra seconds, but if it's harder, it's ready to be removed. You can stretch and grip and pull. So in one easy swoop, you remove that whole wax section in one go. Now we're just making sure that there's enough pre-wax oil on the other side, that it hasn't soaked in, and that we still have that nice residue of slip and glide on the other side of the nasal and the nostril area, so we can wax this side now. So again, stretching the nostril up and opening the nostril a little bit wider so I can have better access to apply the wax. Making sure the wax is slightly tacky, I'm working my wax in onto those hairs, pushing the wax outwards onto the surrounding skin and pulling my wax up onto the tip of the nose for removal. Again, making sure that the wax patch is as even as possible. And like I said, if there's an area that you're unsure of that might look weaker, or that you don't have enough grip on your lip area to remove, go back, get a little bit of wax product like this and just apply it onto your wax patch and make sure that you can give yourself that nice lip for removal. Because if you don't have a lip to grip and remove properly, chances are you're going to make the treatment uncomfortable for the client and you're going to have difficulty getting the patch off. So once it's set, then you're going to stretch on the nose, pull and remove. So in one easy swoop, you can squeeze the nose just to take the sting away for the client. And then you're ready to do your next patch, which is on the same side that we've just been working on, but we're going to do the inner section now. So again, twirling the wax to get it that little bit tackier, and then pressing the wax in and onto those hairs and the surrounding skin. Remember, firm pressure, even though you're working on a delicate area that has lots of nerve endings, you still need to make sure that there's firm pressure there to really work those hairs into the wax patch. Again, if you see a weak spot in your wax patch, or you think, oh, I don't know, that mightn't come off in one easy go, go back, get a little bit of wax and attach it into where you think your weak spot might be. This will make your life a hell of a lot easier and make sure that your wax can be pulled and removed in one go and comfortably for the client. If your wax patch needs a little bit of help setting, if it's too thick in places, then you can use my trick of using my cleanser on the cotton pad to set it a little bit quicker. Now we're ready to remove, so stretch and pull. And just squeeze to take that sting out. And that's everything done. So now I'm cleansing, cooling the skin down, making sure there's no residue or pre-wax oil left. The cleanser is the perfect aftercare after nasal waxing. So typically with nasal waxing, 4 patches would be the average of waxing that we would do. However, if you have a particular client who might be hairier, or there's a couple of hairs that you might have missed or that you just would like to go back in on, that's completely fine. You can do that. Just reapply your pre-wax oil and then you can wax with a couple of more patches if needed. Here I'm just re-cleansing the area, making sure that there's no residue of any pre-wax oil, and then that's done.